following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Blowing out of the backfield, exploding down the sideline.
This is Hangin' with the Boys, presented by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Now, your hosts, Nate Newton, Kurt Daniels, Jesse Holley, and Shannon Gross.
Thursday, 11:30 a.m. Central Time. That can mean only one thing.
Go.
We are taking over the airwaves here at the Star in Frisco. It's a cloudy 52 degrees. We got to look live in right there at the Tostitos Championship Plaza at Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. It's there's not a lot happening. There's some replays of some games, but that's about it. So it's a very uneventful day here at the Star. Fellas, you're looking good. Kurt, you got the black pullover on today with the blue
got my
star.
Cowboys gear on.
I like it. I like it. Jess, what logo is that? Is that a UK logo you have on your shirt? Is that...
Nah, brother. This is my school, man. Kingdom Collegiate Academy, man. If you're looking for a good quality Christian education, man, come on down there and see us, baby.
Okay, all right. And then Nate, what are you covering up? What are you holding on to there?
Because I know I'm going to get a memo saying we don't wear other people's emblems on our shirt for a sponsor. This is not a sponsor. But I'm traveling, man. I'm in Florida, man. So I just threw on my shirt this morning.
Oh,
I'm traveling, bro.
You're in Florida. Did you go see some family? Friends? What's going on in Florida?
Yeah. This girl, her man, I knew her and her husband all through college, man. And they just great friends of the family, man. I love them to death, Tracy and Marcus, man. And I was going to, tomorrow I'll be going to North Carolina, South Carolina, hanging up there, man. Just man, just getting out, man. I'm trying to stay close to Dallas, man.
And you didn't even invite Jesse.
You're trying to stay close to Dallas. You're not very close. 17 hours away.
Hey, y'all said we was going to travel. It's something that I'm not going to let us be liars.
We didn't even get the invite. You told us you were going to invite us. We were going to go to Jesse's old stomping grounds. We were going to go up to Jersey and get his storage unit taken care of.
Okay, next week. Okay, next Thursday, let's go. After the show, next Thursday, let's go. Y'all ready? I'm serious. Y'all ready?
I have to get my calendar in order.
Yeah.
Beam said he's got to check with the wife.
All of us aren't as free as you just to go, up and go and hit the road. We got to make plans and put things in place, man. We just can't up and go. I would love to be able to do that, but the off season for me is a little bit different than it was when I was playing.
Quickly, I'm asking, what is the new generation? Because you have millennials, and they call the new generation what?
Gen Z.
Gen Xers?
No,
they call this new generation something like progressive or something.
Oh.
Or whatever they call them. But I got the new generation mindset. It'll be here tomorrow. I'm gone. Have a good one. That's how they looking like. It'll be here tomorrow. I'm gone.
Fellas, all right, let's talk a little Cowboys football. Where do you want to start, Kurt? Start us off.
Kurt.
Just me, like last time you had me end the show. Are you gonna? And now I'm starting the show. What are you doing, man?
I'm doing as little as possible. I am grooming you for whenever I go to Mexico for good. Take the baby, take the wife, and don't come back. No. So yes.
No, you got to come back.
Yeah. Can't do this without you, man.
Mama Gross, I have a fit.
Oh, that's true. This is true. This is true. Kurt, just point us in a direction and we'll go. Just pick a topic.
Well, we're still getting a lot of talk about Dan Quinn and what he's going to do. And the Dallas Morning News had a pretty good article kind of breaking down his defense. And it sounds like they're going back to kind of what they did do. I think you had mentioned it last week, Jesse, the cover three kind of base defense. But they were criticized before. Marinelli and Richard got a lot of criticism for being too vanilla. And now that's what we're asking them to do. I mean, do you see this working? Are we heading the right direction here?
Okay, Jesse, I'm going to go first because I can see you taking a deep breath and getting ready to roll.
No.
The reason this will work, because Dan Quinn, even though he had a lot of great back-end players with his previous team where he had success with Seattle, and he's a defensive line coach. He understands and he's bought in his mind that if I can get these defensive linemen to play in the correct gaps and stop the run and earn the right to rush the passers, that I can stay simple and do a few wrinkles here and there on my back end and let guys grow. What you cannot do, and Dan Quinn, I think, is a great defensive mind. And I think for the first time in a long time, we addressed an issue where a lot of people are not talking about. He started and cut his teeth with defensive linemen. He understands the importance of that. And so now he's going to be looking at these guys more than anybody. And the guy that he brought in, the pass coordinator, he's going to be like, I'm going to be looking at you to really help these guys understand what we want. But up front, if they fix up front, we won't talk about the DBs as much as we are now. That's just my take on it. Jesse, go.
Here is where it starts. Here is the Genesis, and what is the Genesis and Revelation, the Alpha, the Omega. Here's where it starts, and here's where it finishes. Dan Quinn will only be successful, and I do mean this is the only way he will be successful, is if the Joneses fully commit to giving him the resources that he needs. Not cutting corners, not the great value, not off the scrap heap, not trying to go down to your local Home Depot. If Dan Quinn and this defense is going to succeed, and again, I'm not looking for the number one defense in the league. I'm looking for a defense that's around 10 to 14 to 15. I think if you give a defense that can give you that, and they can have the late surge of producing turnovers like they did late in the year, earlier in the year, and consistently throughout the year, you have a very good... This team is going to score points. It has always been built to score points. It has the pieces to score points. It is going to score points. And honestly, I don't give a damn who's calling the plays. Now, when I say I don't give a damn who's calling the plays, I only mean that in the sense of whether it's Kellen, whether it's Mike, whether it's Nussmeier, whether it's Nate Newton. This offense is built to score points. If you're not going to give Dan Quinn all of the resources that he needs, you'll find yourself trying to piece together a defense again. And we'll find ourselves against the better teams in our division and on our schedule beating us in close games because we don't have the personnel to stop anybody. To Nate's point, Dan Quinn is a defensive lineman coach at heart. That's where he got to start at. That's where he knows best at. So he's going to try to build it from the front back. He knows that if I can get my guys up front and not allow teams to completely dominate us and do whatever they want to us, whether that be running or passing, and quarterbacks have an extremely amount of time in the pocket because this is a quarterback league. Every quarterback that we're going to face, I shouldn't say every, 85 to 90% of the quarterbacks that we're going to face are going to be able to throw the football well. And if we're not creating pressure, if we're not making them uncomfortable with our front four, not adding extra pieces. When you add, that's bonus. If I can get pressure with my front four, then I can manipulate the back end. I can do things to disguise, to be discreet, to do all those different things. But it starts and it ends. Genesis to Revelations, Alpha and Omega, with Jerry, Steven, Little Jerry, all Charlotte,
Will McClay.
It starts there. They have to give him the resources. This football team, and I talked with someone this past weekend who was very close inside the locker room. This football team was too small defensively. It was too small defensively up front. It was too small in the middle. And so that's why it got pushed around. It got big boyed. It got little broed. It got bullied. And until you address those, and seriously address those, I'm not looking for no more Dontario Poles. You got to get some legit players in here. It's Dontario until he plays well. until you get some legit players in here, and I don't know what I'm not smart enough. I'll never claim to be smart enough. I can just add and count my own money. But until you commit serious dollars to good players, you're going to handicap Dan Quinn, and we'll be having this same discussion. Kurt, bookmark this. We'll be having this same discussion in November and December and saying, well, who do we blame this one on now? Because we didn't been through a plethora of defensive coordinators, and none of them have seemed to get it right or be able to have a dominant defense. And the main reason being is not scheme, not this, not that, who's calling what. It's the Jimmies and Joes that they're putting on the field. They're putting guys out there, and they're trying to sprinkle this magic dust and hoping they turn into Pro Bowlers, and it just ain't happening. And you get exposed a great deal in this league when you just put a bunch of guys out there who aren't truly football players.
So
I was looking at Spot Track, the website that kind of tracks salary cap and that sort of thing, and I found it interesting as far as the team's ranking and percentage spent on defense. So on the salary cap, how much of that percentage goes to defense? Of the 4 remaining playoff teams, Tampa Bay ranks 13th in the league on percentage spent on defense. Buffalo ranks 12th. Green Bay ranks 11th. And Kansas City ranks 7th, actually. The Cowboys, they rank 31st. And so I wonder...
That's why.
who's below them?
And that's why. You know what, man? I don't even want to say nothing, because what bothers me is every year, I keep saying, every year, as soon as I say we going 16-0, the next thing I say is, man, we need to get a defense. We need to get a defense. Every year I am screaming, Jesse, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because now all of your mad Twitters will start following you saying, okay, Jesse said it. It must be the truth. Nate been saying it for 8 years and ain't nobody listening, including the Joneses and Will Smith.
So
who do you got on that defensive? Go ahead, Shannon.
I was going to say, based off that, you guys are both saying a defensive lineman, defensive tackle is going to be more important than finding a safety again this year. Correct?
Let me be a little bit. I laugh because, I get a little passionate sometimes, and I say I'm not going to do that this offseason. Would you rather for a defensive lineman that can tackle a guy for a 2-yard gain, or you rather for a safety that's tackling the guy for a 6-yard gain?
That's a great point.
Yeah. I mean, because that is what Jesse explained to us two weeks ago when he said, "Look at these guys. This certain guy tackle. He's 5 yards off the ball. The running back is 8 yards off the ball. But how is this guy getting across the line of scrimmage and you tackling him for a 4 or 5 yard gain? All you got to do is run the ball 3 times and you got a first down. Mm-hmm. If you don't ever fix this front end, I mean seriously fix it, where you holding people around 105, 110 yards, no more per rush in the game, and that's counting your quarterback runs too. You're going to always be, we was giving up at one point, 170 yards a game rushing?
Yeah.
Your safety don't know what to do. Am I a linebacker? Or am I a safety back here in the deep 1/3? It was bad there for a minute, fellas. Y'all know that.
Well, who do you got on the defensive line right now that you can work with? You got DeMarcus Lawrence, but after that, Randy Gregory showed signs as a pass rusher, but he's not. It doesn't seem to be an every down defensive end. Who else you got?
The thing is, that's why I believe wholeheartedly. If I'm Mr. Jones and Will them and all, I don't care what the rest of the league do. I have to have my defensive linemen out there on the field where the coaches can see them doing something, because we got Tristan Hill, we got Naval Gallimore, and we got and Antoine Woods. Those are 3 guys. You got to find out if these guys are worthy of being on your team. Are they rotation players, as Jesse said? Are they going to be pieces that can help your team? Or are they going to be the guys? I know if Antoine Woods played 30 or less plays, he can be dominant as a run stopper. But like Jesse said, now I've always tried to tell people, when you say 31, 32, 33, you get to 35 plays, you done max this guy out. He's 5'11", 300 pounds. That ain't gonna work. His arms are not longer than mine. So after about 35 plays, he threw. I mean, and I know people may get mad at me, but he threw.
It doesn't look like a quick fix, fellas.
Jesse said it. If we as media is gonna be like, okay, I see what the Jones is saying. They ain't got no money. They can't spend no money. And the draft is totally against us.
But see, I never believed that. Like, I never believed that the Joneses don't have any money. I'm not talking about personally. I'm talking about even within the realms of the cap. They go and they design these deals, right? Todd Williams and crew, Todd knows the numbers. Todd knows how you can hit switches and turn things into bonuses and turn things. Like, there's money. Jerry, Nate, you've been around this organization since the 90s.
Yeah.
Shannon, you've been a part of the organization for what, 17 years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, since
Kurt,
80,
how many years have you gotten to this? Over 10?
Yeah.
You got over 10. I got over 10. We're all Chris Bean got 20. We're all 10 plus years of being part of this organization. Name me a time where Jerry or Steven or somebody, they wanted a player that they did not get because of money. Don't worry, we have a whole hour. We got time. You can't name one. You cannot name one. Because they find a way. Jerry finds a way. He knows how to move pieces and things to get what he wants. That's the key. What he wants. What he wants. What sells tickets. What puts butts in the seats. See, the big sexies and the big sexies up front, they don't put butts in the seats. They don't sell many jerseys. You can't put them on ticket stubs. You don't make the big posters for them outside. You're not doing car commercials. They're not Pepsi or they're not Ford, right? Because they're not sexy. They don't look like me, okay? They're not sexy.
Hope you're enjoying that tea, Nate. We're doing a show. We're trying to do a show.
And so at times, they're not prioritized. They're not prioritized. But this has to be a priority this offseason. You went out and you got Dan Quinn. Cool, totally fine with it. I understand it. I was totally for it. I thought Mike Nolan was horrible. Get it? You made the change. Now,
so you got him cut. Go ahead on.
That's fine. Yeah, it's time for him to go. But now, what do? You can't keep this carousel of, hey, coach, come in here. And this is the card that you've been dealt. You got to make the best hand. Now, we're not going to win this way. You got to be able to say, all right, coach. It's like when a new college coach comes in and he says, here's what I need to upgrade these facilities. Now, don't hire me if you're going to handicap me and not give me the things that I need to win.
You talking about the guy in Jacksonville?
I'm talking about coaches in general and all, but schools always find money for those things. That's a whole other conversation. What I'm saying is Jerry, if you're going to hire Dan Quinn, then by all means, give him the resources that he needs, that he wants. Give him a chance. Don't keep shoving these players that's been on this roster for the last couple years down his throat. They ain't working. They ain't worked with the last defensive coordinator, and guess what? They ain't worked for the one before them. So there's a trend here. You need to get better players. You can keep. This is the third defensive coordinator in 3 years.
Yeah.
This is the third one. This is the third defense. Rod Marinelli, right?
Right.
You fired that group. You hired Mike Nolan. You fired him after a year. Now you got Dan Quinn. This is the third guy now. You got 3 guys in here in 3 years. What has to change? Because you don't already change these guys 3 times.
Yeah.
You got to put players in there.
How much of it was maybe influenced by the coaching staff over the last 10 years? Because we know, like Garrett, I think he wanted Zeke over Jalen Ramsey. We know Marinelli kept, he didn't put an emphasis on defensive line. I could work with him. How much of that was influenced by the coaches, and so it may be more likely to change now because you have a different staff in there?
Well, most coaches, power coaches, and I'll say like the guy with New Orleans, the guy with the Seahawks, guys like that, they were able to pick their general managers. And when you're able to pick your general managers, you can they know what you like. They know what you want. They know how to go out and get the players that you're seeking. So when you say, hey, I got your guy, they just, they look at the film. Whereas our coaches, and I could be dead wrong, but it seems like our coaches get a chance to pick the guys. I say let Will McClay pick the guys in the first, second, and third round. Hey, these are the 3 guys. These are the guys we're looking at. They have the right backgrounds. They're not injured. They don't have a lot of mental and physical problems. These are your 3 guys. Not some guy spend the night in the hotel with and come back and say, yeah, I can work with this guy. That ain't working for us. That has not worked in the last 7, 8 years.
Nope.
All right, fellas, tell you what. We're talking about money. We're talking about finding money. Let's talk about the guy that needs to get paid. But let's put a hypothetical out there. What if they decide that Dak is not the guy long term? Let's just say hypothetically. How do they handle that? Do they franchise tag him for this year? What do they do, and what are they doing? And then let's take it a step further. You got 4 pretty damn good quarterbacks that are left on the road to the Super Bowl. Where does Dak rank compared to these guys? Is he in that conversation? Is he getting close? Is he there? Let's talk about that. Let's make the next segment all about Dak Prescott. When we come back, Nate Newton, Jesse Holley, Kurt Daniels, Shannon Gross, live.
Conor McGregor.
Coming at
Conor
you.
McGregor.
Speaking of big fight Saturday, I cannot wait. Wait.
We're going to talk to you about that fight.
Let's talk about that when we come back on Hanging with the Boys.
Is your family a Cowboys family? Have you taken holiday photos at the Star? Was your wedding theme blue and silver? Have you convinced your kids them is spelled with a D? If so, every game day feels like a vacation to you, so treat it like one. Whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com. Proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Just like all of you, we at SeatGeek can't wait until we're back in the stands at full strength cheering on the Cowboys and singing along to our favorite songs again. We're using this time to make discovering, buying, and selling tickets to events in Dallas easier. Plus, every ticket purchased on SeatGeek is protected by our buyer guarantee, which means you'll get your money back or better if your event is canceled. Guaranteed. Download the SeatGeek app today, and when the time is right, let's go. SeatGeek.
Grab some OtterBox gear and get ready for Hanging with the Boys. From rugged venture coolers to tough as nails elevation tumblers, we've got what you need to keep your game day drinks frosty and your football feast ice cold. And with cases, screen protectors, and power accessories, you can defend your phone and stay connected to every play. Gear up at OtterBox.com and amp up the fun of every Cowboys game. That's OtterBox.com.
Dear, it's 1908. Don't you think we should get electricity?
And stop using candles to see at night.
It's just electricity lights up the room fast. It's more reliable than candles blowing out, and people seem to love it nationwide.
Well, candles are...
Dear, did you just run into the wall?
Nope. May I have a new candle, please?
Historically, switching to new technology is a no-brainer. Today, it's AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure, and nationwide. Switch to AT&T 5G. It's not complicated. 5G requires compatible plan. May not be in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
Watching the game in old basketball shorts or baggy sweats is for amateurs. If you want to relax like a pro, upgrade to the comfort of Tommy John Loungewear. It looks awesome, feels even better. It's got pockets for snacks and is machine washable for any unpredictable nacho cheese spill. Shop loungewear at TommyJohn.com/Cowboys for 15% off your first order. That's TommyJohn.com/Cowboys. Shannon Gross here at the Star. Kurt Daniels somewhere in Arlington. Nate Newton somewhere in Florida. Jesse Holley somewhere in the DFW Metroplex area. You in North or South Dallas today?
I'm in the South.
You're in the dirty
F.
South. The South. South. I guess you're at school then. Is that your office?
South Dallas.
Is that your office?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Yes, sir.
Nice little shrine you have behind you. Okay. We're talking about money earlier. Let's talk about Dak Prescott. Before we get into this hypothetical question about if they don't think he's the long-term guy, because they've been telling us he's the guy for 3 years now, and they still haven't they still haven't shown us that he's the guy. We've heard it. We haven't seen it yet because he's year to year. But you got 4 pretty damn good quarterbacks that are left in the playoffs right now. You've got Jared Allen, which is, been on the up for the last couple of years and really is having a great year. You got Patrick Mahomes. We all know what a freak he is. You got the old guys, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers left. So 4 really good quarterbacks left, in the playoffs, heading to the Super Bowl. Where does Dak, in your opinions, where does he fit into that conversation with those 4 guys? Is he there yet? Is he almost there? I think we probably all agree that he used to be considered middle of the pack. I think he's graduated from that, and he's entering this conversation. I think he's probably B+ material. You got your A guys, and then you got your B level guys. I'm thinking he's probably 7, 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there in the league. But what are your guys' thoughts on where he is? Let's just say if he would have had a full year based off of what we saw this year, where would you rank him?
Well, being the non-football player here, I rank him pretty high. I guess I'm being a homer, but I mean, he's right up there with them all. I think his leadership is coming along. He doesn't have the experience of those guys. He hasn't, obviously in the playoffs, he has nowhere near that kind of experience. So I wouldn't say he's maybe on their level yet, but I'd put him up there with Allen, obviously, Buffalo's quarterback. He's almost there. I don't know if I'd put him on that top tier, but maybe a close second tier. I think this is a guy the Cowboys have to build with. I'm just not sure what they're holding on, because I would put him up there with some of the best in the game right now.
Nate's rubbing his head. That's never
Sorry,
never
Nate.
good.
I'm gonna say this right here, man. It's 2 guys that have shown tremendous growth, and Jesse, I'm asking you this. This was the least kid. The kid in Buffalo was what we call the least. He had the big arm, the big body. He was athletic. Are you sure you're going to put Dak where he at? Or is this kid fake? This kid is doing it.
Well.
And see, now that you've seen for the first time and forever a kid like Wentz who just fell off the map. So I'm saying to myself, I want to believe my eyes. I think Allen is a top quarterback. And Jesse, I'm asking you, what do you think?
I think Allen is ascending fast. And the thing that we can't fall victim to is recency bias. Mm-hmm. Right? And I get it, this league is a what have you done for me lately league. And Dak has missed this, 90% of this season due to the ankle injury. And when you're out of the picture, people tend to forget about you. When you're not doing anything, people tend to overlook you. Now, I think there's a stratosphere of Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, and I think they sit atop of the list, right? And that's their realm. They're in a space where they're untouchable. Okay, and I think there's that next tier where you can start putting guys in there. You put your Tom Brady's in there, and even though he's the GOAT, he's regressed. He's not in that top echelon of quarterbacks anymore. I think you can throw a guy like Russell Wilson into that second tier of quarterbacks. And now, depending on how many you want to have in this tier, I think that Dak is teetering in that bottom second half tier to the very top of that third tier. And not being here this year, it hurt. All we have to go off is what we have to go off of. And when you look and see what a guy like Josh Allen has done, this year and how he's risen his game. And maybe I'm on this wagon alone with the Carson Wentz situation, because the same way we speak about how Josh Allen has taken this huge leap to stardom, I just don't see how a player who was literally up until the last week of the season or 2 weeks of the season was a MVP, was literally saying he was going to win the MVP of the league, to now saying that he doesn't have it at all. Like, that's the part that I personally just can't buy. That's a huge drop off. And it wasn't like he was ascending when he got, and I'm speaking of Carson Wentz, when he got to that level. So in the same breath, is Josh Allen real? Like, is that a real ascension? And I think it is. I think what you're seeing with him is, like I talked about for the defensive part of the Cowboys, Buffalo said, if we're going to make this kid better, we have to go get the necessary pieces to make him better. And one of the biggest offseason signings or trades, or however you want to call it, was going to get a kid like Stephon Diggs, to go to put him with a guy like Cole Beasley. And now you have a legit number one, you have a legit slot receiver, and now your quarterback isn't trying to do things that he isn't capable of doing because he doesn't have the weapons to do so. So I think Dak is in that lower part of the second tier, the very tippity top of that third tier of quarterbacks. And again, depending on how many, we could say we're going to put 5 in each tier. All right, then that moves him up some. We could say we're going to put 3 in each tier. All right, well, that moves him down some. It all depends about how many quarterbacks we're going to put in each tier. But I do think Aaron Rodgers and
Mahomes
and Patrick Mahomes, that they sit on the throne on top where no one else should be able to come into that conversation right now, and hence why these two are probably the last two finalists for the MVP of this season. And it's probably going to go to Aaron Rodgers, who most people a year or two ago was saying Aaron Rodgers was finished and he was done. And now you're saying that he's back to that old Aaron Rodgers, that bad man MVP Aaron Rodgers again. So if you're asking me, I say bottom top of the second tier, tippity top of the third tier, depending on how many you put in those tiers.
And you're putting so Jesse, you're saying Patrick and Aaron Rodgers, that's tier 1, just those two guys because they're so elite. Then basically you could say Dak is in the bottom of the first tier if you're taking those two guys out. Bottom of the first tier, very top of the second tier in that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, if you're if you're talking about the Josh Allens, I'm talking about the Russell Wilsons, type quarterbacks of the world.
When I look at a quarterback, and this is where it's so hard for me to judge, because when I'm looking at a quarterback, and you have put the right pieces around this kid. Now you get into the playoffs. If you put the right pieces around this kid, can he be that difference in winning that game? If your defense is playing tight and ain't giving up nothing, if your offensive line is blocking and doing right, you going back and forth. Can you, as a quarterback, make that move? Well, even though we have put Tom Brady out of the first tier, we know Tom Brady can make this move. We know Russell Wilson can make this move. This kid for Buffalo last week, he didn't run a lot, and his running backs didn't run a lot. He threw the ball. So we know he can make this move right now. Now, he's still a question mark, but we know. I am waiting for this team, and maybe it'll never happen, to have a good defense. They have a nice offense. I want to see us in the playoffs, because that is how you get totally judged in the playoffs, and it is coming down to Dak versus whoever. Now, can I get this victory? That is how Lamar is losing favor. Because they built this around you. They gave you a defense. You got a so-so offensive line, but you got nice running backs. Okay, can you be that guy that takes you over the top. We haven't seen that from Dak. And that's why I asked you to talk about this kid from Buffalo, because you have seen this. And once you see it, then you can believe it.
Well, we know that Tom Brady can carry a team. We've seen it. We've seen Aaron Rodgers carry a team. Both Mahomes and Allen have great players around them. Do you think if Dak Prescott was on those teams, he would take the Chiefs and Buffalo to the championship games? If he had that kind of talent around him?
Dak has more talent on his offense right now than Buffalo has.
Just give him some defense.
Yes.
Give him some defense.
He has way more talent on his team overall than Buffalo has.
And
not even close.
That's what I'm saying.
You can even argue, if we start talking about man for man, we can argue that he has more talent than they have in Kansas City. Now, he may not have more speed, but talented. You can't find a route runner. You can't find a route runner on Kansas City that runs better routes than Amari Cooper. You cannot find an overall better route running, playmaking receiver on Kansas City than Amari Cooper.
And so, and you making my point, Jesse. You're making my point. So until this team build a real team around this kid and give him some type of defense, or a smart enough defense and special teams that don't hurt him, to let him say, okay, we have never questioned Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, even the young kid in KC. It's certain quarterbacks with a minute left, we ain't questioning them. Please, hey, take all the time off the clock. Oh, don't let this guy. We gave Russell Wilson the ball. Oh my God. Oh, what have we done? Well, guess what? We ain't. I don't see people. After his rookie year, we felt this way. But the last few years, you haven't felt this way with a minute.
And this is why I said.
Take over.
That's why I said bottom of tier 2, very top of tier 3.
Yeah, and I agree with that. But the tier 1 and the tier 2, there's some horses out there, man. Aaron Rodgers have went. When you give a great quarterback, a great coach, somehow, some way, they always get in the playoffs. Now you go and check all of these quarterbacks we have talked about, and I bet they have a better than 60% rate of getting in the playoffs. Because number one, their coaches have been nice, and number two, they have been nice. Aaron Rodgers have made receivers, not this freak he got now. But brother, this is unreal what Aaron Rodgers has done with virtually nothing. If Aaron Rodgers would have had these three receivers we got, come on, man.
I saw that play.
Come on now.
I saw the play that he ripped all of our hearts out at AT&T Stadium a few years back. I saw that again this week, and I forgot how great of a play and throw that was, like off his back foot, across his body, to the sidelines where only his guy could.
Rolling left.
Stupid. So for everybody that's still upset about the playoff game in Green Bay, when Dez caught it but didn't catch it, calm down and just because Aaron Rodgers was going to march right back down that field and score again with no time left, no questions asked. So the Cowboys weren't going to win that game.
He had 4
anyway.
minutes left.
Yeah, he had plenty of time. On a bad leg. He was going to kill him.
And you asked about, and see, that's why, when I speak on quarterbacks, man, you have to understand the things that has to happen for a quarterback. I mean, look at Tom Brady. Got smashed in the first game against New Orleans. Barely lost the second game against New Orleans. Went in their house. Their defense played well. And Tom Brady figured out a way to keep his guys into the game until the quarterback broke down for the Saints. That's special, man. Aaron Rodgers, they went out and drafted a guy in the first round, his future replacement. How does Aaron Rodgers Answer, hey, you know what? I'm going to bring this playoff through Green Bay this year. That's how I'm going to answer. So I keep telling people, Tom Brady, like, you know what? I'm tired of you, Belichick. Grunt, retire. I'm going to get you out of retirement. We're going to work by the end of the year. Hey, Antonio Brown, keep acting a fool. I got you at the end of the year. You know, and I'm going to bring this thing together. Yeah, I know the coach don't want you, but come on. Brother, when you go to talking, and that's for Dak, that's for Wentz, when you go to talking about quarterbacks, it's about 3 or 4 guys in this league that nobody's going to be able to touch if they have a great coach and they have themselves.
I have a theory on Brady losing 2 and then winning the playoff game. If you are a good team, not if you're trash, but if you are a good team, above average team, you cannot beat a team you can't be beaten 3 times in the NFL. I just don't think it's possible. If you lose 2 in the regular season and you face that team in the playoffs, I'd love to see what that win percentage is, because it happened to the Cowboys.
I was a part of a team that did that.
Yep.
Yeah.
2007.
I was a part of a team that did that.
We thumped some folks like that.
We beat Philly like that
3 times.
Yeah.
We beat Philly. We played.
That's right.
2009 or 10. We beat Philly twice in the regular season.
Yeah.
And then we either had to play. We played them. I think we played them in the first round or something.
Yeah.
Something crazy like that.
And Nate, y'all beating people 3. Well, you know what?
Weeks.
Y'all just threw my theory out the window. So let's just go to break, because y'all just destroyed it. That's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Hopefully it doesn't happen. I want to go research that.
It's better to come from me than come from someone on the internet, because you know they're not gonna let you live it down. They're gonna tell you no, Shannon. And then they're gonna talk about how you work for the organization and you didn't know that the Cowboys did that, and you know you're a fake fan and they should fire you.
No, your head is
big, but it doesn't have a brain inside of it.
Stop.
No, that's what they're going to say. I'm not saying it.
You've been hit 1 or 2 minutes times, Conor McGregor. You've been hit.
No, it can obviously it happens. I'm just saying I would like to see the research on how often it happens, what the percentage is. Maybe I'll go look that up.
I know this right here, man. When you brought up that question, what about Dak? I'm going to tell you what's going to have to happen, man.
Wait.
And I said it, and I'm going to say it every show.
Hold on. Say it after the break, because I want to talk about Dak a little bit more, and then we'll get into free agents. Who are you keeping and who are you letting go? Because we have a whole last segment to do this.
I'm keeping Jesse. Keeping Conor McGregor. I'm keeping Kurt Daniels. I'm keeping Chris Bean. That's my core group of guys.
Okay, all right. We'll find out who Nate's letting go when we come back. The last segment of Hanging with the Boys.
I got to pee.
Just like all of you, we at SeatGeek can't wait until we're back in the stands at full strength cheering on the Cowboys and singing along to our favorite songs again. We're using this time to make discovering, buying, and selling tickets to events in Dallas easier. Plus, every ticket purchased on SeatGeek is protected by our buyer guarantee, which means you'll get your money back or better if your event is canceled. Guaranteed. Download the SeatGeek app today, and when the time is right, let's go. SeatGeek.
It's game day. You know what that means. First, kebab prep. Steak, pepper, onion, steak, pepper, onion. Next, a counterclockwise lap around the room. Now the lucky grease-stained jersey goes on. And lastly, the dance. You know the one. This is a game day ritual no matter where you are. Whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com and keep the tradition alive and well. Hotels.com. Proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Grab some OtterBox gear and get ready for Hanging with the Boys. From rugged venture coolers to tough as nails elevation tumblers, we've got what you need to keep your game day drinks frosty and your football feast ice cold. And with cases, screen protectors, and power accessories, you can defend your phone and stay connected to every play. Gear up at OtterBox.com and amp up the fun of every Cowboys game. That's OtterBox.com.
Dear, it's 1908. Don't you think we should get electricity?
And stop using candles to see at night.
It's just electricity lights up the room fast. It's more reliable than candles blowing out, and people seem to love it nationwide.
Well, candles are...
Dear, did you just run into the wall?
Nope. May I have a new candle, please?
Historically, switching to new technology is a no-brainer. Today, it's AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure, and nationwide. Switch to AT&T 5G. It's not complicated. 5G requires compatible plan. May not be in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
Cowboys Nation, get the best deal of the season. 60% off all salute to service and crucial catch gear. You heard that right. 60% off these limited time collections, plus the Pro Shop has a huge selection of cold weather gear and more deals for every fan. Visit your local Dallas Cowboys Pro Shop or go to shop.dallascowboys.com. Okay, making sure I read that right. For the best savings on your new gear today. All right, Nate, what were you going to say about Dak?
This is what I believe. You know, I talked about it 2 years ago, and I believe this right here, that if you can tell me that Dak's all day your quarterback, you can assure me that Dak is not going anywhere. But the true fact is, we have not signed him. We've franchised him one time. I've not heard anything that makes me believe that we're ready to sign Dak. I think we're closer to franchising him again than we are signing him. And unless I hear something by our flagship station saying breaking news and horns blaring and people going up and down the highway 100 miles an hour saying, finally we signed Dak, I'm just waiting to see it happen. I am waiting. I am waiting.
If you franchise him again, let's just go down this hypothetical road, and you franchise him again, you're basically all but saying this is your final year here. See you later. Bye-bye, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, how close in following the history of these negotiations, how close do we really think he is coming off of a broke ankle? I mean, I want to hear all of y'all percentages, even Chris Beans.
Hang on, we got breaking news. We just got an internal, or I guess the media just got sent a press release. The headline is, it's official. I know there's been some rumors out there. Dallas Cowboys add Joe Witt Jr. and Aiden, I don't even know. We're going to have fun with this name. Aiden Dirty to coaching staff and promote Harold Nash Jr. Kurt, you may have a little bit more on that a little bit later on. I just wanted to break in. Nate, continue.
Now, what are your
speaking of Harold Nash Jr., who I know and met Harold when I was with the New England Patriots. So he comes very highly recommended. So that, I know.
What
position,
rest in peace.
Jet?
What does he do?
No, he's strength and conditioning.
Strength coach.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Now, I understand y'all don't want to talk about this. This is ugly. And I understand we broke news and we want to go to everybody else. But Harold Nash Jr. ain't nobody compared to Dak. So what are the percentages once again? Like I say, everybody want to beat around the question, what hypothetical this and hypothetical that. What do you really feel that they're going to do with Dak? That's a real something that has to happen here for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. I don't know why they don't. I mean, if they keep saying he's the guy, like Jesse said earlier, if Jerry wants somebody, he's going to figure out a way to pay him. So I don't know what the holdup is, other than, we pointed out earlier that they're one of the lowest spenders on defense. They know they need to upgrade that side, and here they're getting ready to spend a bunch more on offense. So maybe that's in the back of their mind, is they need to have a more balanced roster. I don't know. They put themselves in such a bad position. What was it, just 2 or 3 years ago, they could have had him for like $25 million. They didn't want to pay that. Now they're probably looking at least $40 million. I don't know. It's such a bad situation they've got themselves into, and I'm not sure how they get out of it other than just swallowing the pill and paying the man. Otherwise, why? I mean, if you know you're going to have to franchise him, and you're probably not going to get him back, would you just cut bait now and look forward, find somebody in the draft? I don't know. It's such a bad position they've got themselves.
The Cowboys have zero leverage.
Yeah,
negative
in this
zero.
situation.
Negative leverage.
They have negative zero. And especially when you look at the contracts. Oh, by the way, speaking of Josh Allen, the Cowboys might want to hurry up. Because they might be looking to re-up Josh Allen pretty soon. So if the Cowboys don't want the market to go up again, they may want to jump in front of Josh Allen before Buffalo pays him. But when you look at the last couple of contracts of those who have signed extensions and so on and so forth, all those guys have gotten 4-year deals. All those guys have gotten 4-year deals. And so if the Cowboys are stuck on this whole 5-year deal thing, they're not going to win that battle. They aren't. They aren't. And if their minds are still not made up, then they've done a terrible job at setting themselves up for a future. Because if you are unsure, then you should have made the necessary or taken the necessary steps prior to getting a guy in here who can be the heir apparent to Dak Prescott. So if you're not sure, what you've done now is you've set yourself back even more. Because if you think for 1 second you're going to be able to franchise Dak this season and have a chance at signing him next season, I have a beach house in Iowa that I would love to sell you. Would love to sell you, because it ain't happening. That will be the ultimate smack in the face, and you can all but say your goodbyes to Dak Prescott once the season ends. And even if you're looking at, hopefully trying to, sign and trade or something like that, he still got to sign. Like, he still has to sign a deal. So if there's a team that you're looking to trade him for, if he look at that and he said, I'm not going there, I'm not signing that, then you're in a stalemate. And that team will eventually have to go somewhere else, because you're like, why would I sign that and send myself to some quarterback purgatory and some team that I got to wait to rebuild again? So the Cowboys have 0% negotiation leverage, but I still think there's a 50-50 chance, to answer your question, Nate, a 50-50 chance they still get this deal done.
The thing with me is Jerry and Steven, they're usually really straightforward. They keep telling us this is our guy, this is our guy. I have to believe that they believe this is their guy, and there's got to be some behind the scenes maneuvering going on where they're trying to sell the brand to Dak, and they're trying to get a discount for these certain things, and Dak's saying, no, I'm good. I'm going to get paid somewhere, whether it's here or not, and he's held his ground, and he hasn't fallen in love with the star like a lot of players do and realize that, you get in these endorsement deals by being here. That's the only thing I can figure out, is they're still trying to leverage that into... Again,
the Cowboys... You lost that leverage battle, because guess what? Dak has already made $100 million.
Right, he's already got those deals.
He's already made it.
Right.
I'm already on Dannon. I'm already on Pepsi. I'm already on Tostitos. I'm already on the car dealerships. I'm already there.
Sleep number, all of them.
So saying that leverage, I got the NetJet deal. Like, whatever you want to talk about is I got the hot sauce deal. So you don't have that leverage anymore. You lost that leverage a long time ago when he signed his name to those other deals and said, I've already made $100 million. Like, I literally have already made $100 million between my franchise, my little $4 million salary that you gave me in the first couple years, and endorsements. What is going on? What is happening in the background?
Somebody's wrapping gifts.
What's happening?
Nate, who's wrapping gifts over there in Florida?
I'm sorry, y'all.
It's all right. I know you in somebody else's house, but you gotta be like, yo, we're doing a show. Put down the construction equipment.
I was hoping my best friend, like I say, she a little slow. Her daughter came in. I thought Tracy would say, he's doing a show, but you try to visit people, man, that you love, but they falling off the love list.
I know what that is. Those are the movers. Those are the movers getting Dak ready to go. The Cowboys don't sign him soon. The movers have come to get Dak stuff.
Hey, fellas, I just can't fathom us not having a quarterback going into next year and then promising the fans that we're really trying to win. As a fan, you're like, okay, even if you don't like Dak, he gives you that chance to win. And we have him next year.
But Nate, what do you not like about him? Like, that is the thing. Like what are we saying? Like, what?
Yeah.
What don't you like about him? Like, he's showing you time and time again. I'm just trying to figure out, like, what is the nitpicking point that you don't like about him? Like, he had he's not tall enough?
Just spending that much on one guy. I think that's the only thing.
But you know
but
that's
every other team spends.
You're gonna have to spend that money on a quarterback. That's the nature of the business. You don't get a Bentley for Honda Accord prices. You just don't. You don't get a Bentley. You don't get any of those. You don't get a Bentley for Alexis price. It just doesn't happen. It's the Bentley, and that's why it's able to charge that much. It's the starting franchise quarterback in the National Football League. It is the Bentley of all positions.
He's going to get that money
of all positions.
He's getting that money whether it's here or somewhere else. That's the money he's getting.
Do you think would they have any thought to, okay, instead of giving Dak $40 million, we're going to spend $30 million on our defense, and we're going to re-sign Andy Dalton.
And that may get you to the playoffs, but you ain't going to beat Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't going. You're not going to beat teams like that. It may get you to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, we were close. We were damn near there this year. We were literally almost there this year.
Didn't deserve to be.
No,
we were.
Chris had a good point. He just dropped this in our ear. You got Lamar Jackson coming up for contract negotiation, and you got Baker Mayfield. So Lamar's might bump what Mahomes got up just a little bit. So you might want to get to work if you're going to really.
That's what I'm saying. You got Lamar. You got Baker, and you got Josh Allen.
Yep. All right, fellas, let's move. Speaking of moving on, Nate's head hurts because Dak talk makes his head hurt. He's just like, make a decision and let's go. Let's quit talking about this. So let's go through a quick list of free agents, unrestricted free agents. Tell me if you're
stay or go.
There's a lot of them. Stay or go. Tell me.
Yeah, this might be for next show.
Let's do that next show because I'm just going to run through the list and then we'll go. We'll decide on them next week. You got defensive tackle Eli Nku, which I don't know enough about him to be honest with you to say stay or go exactly.
They brought him. They added him real late.
It's guys off of other teams, Shannon.
No, this is our team.
Our guys.
This is our guys.
We added him late in the season. He was picked up from Houston.
Right.
Cheeto, Blake Bell, Noah Brown, Tyrone Crawford, Andy Dalton, Cam Irving, C.J. Goodwin, LP, Sean Lee, Jordan Lewis, Joe Looney, Dak Prescott, Justin March, Jordan Mills, Alden Smith, Joe Thomas, Xavier Woods, and then you've got restricted free agents, Greg Sinat, Malik Turner, Cedric Wilson, Antoine Woods, and exclusive rights, Rondell Carter. So you have a pretty extensive laundry list of guys that you have to make some decisions on, and we will talk about that next time. Kurt, we've got time for one more quick topic. We got about 2 minutes to talk about it. What do you want to talk about?
Let me just say one thing about that list.
After Jesse makes his point.
Excluding Dak Prescott, I'm okay if not one name comes back on that list.
Thank you. Ooh. Thank you.
There isn't one name on that list that I hear.
Gospel, I'm with you.
There isn't one name on that list that I hear, and I'm like, we gotta bring him back.
Thanks for ruining the show for next week, Kurt. Now we got to come up with something different.
Sorry. I tell you what, I'm with the gospel on this one here, Kurt. I mean, Shannon, I'm sorry. I'm with the gospel.
Yeah. All right. Kurt,
again, there's a couple names I'm like, okay, if we get a good enough deal, sure. But there's not one name outside of Dak Prescott I'm like, oh, no.
Gotta have him.
Let's get pen to paper with this guy now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no must-haves other than, like you said, Prescott. And
Shannon, I just understand how all these great points you make, and they have not went along with you. What is going on, man?
I don't know. I never know.
That was a great deal you talked about giving us the list that you cut me off.
I don't
gave
know.
us the list and this dude just shot us down.
Well, you know what? Usually I do a really good job of holding this show together till about the last 10 minutes, and then all hell breaks loose. And this is no different. When we go to weekly, it's no different. So I mean, I don't even care. Last 5 minutes of the show, like my hair could catch on fire and I wouldn't even notice because I tune y'all out. I tune you out.
We know now, Kurt, why he gives the show to you. We know now, Kurt,
yeah, because I give up. I tune out.
Last 5 minutes.
I shut down. All right, Kurt. Now you got a minute. What do you want to talk about? Playoff games?
Well, let me ask you this: we got some former Cowboys that got a chance to go to the Super Bowl here, like guys like Cole Beasley, Anthony Hitchens. When you guys, Jesse and
Damian
Nate,
Wilson, don't you snub Damian Wilson.
Yeah, Damian Wilson. Sorry, Damian. When you saw former teammates leave the team and go on to this kind of success, were you happy for him? Did it kind of piss you off a little bit? What was the thoughts? Was you mad at the team for letting them go? I mean, any
Well, see, I was that guy, so going to the Super Bowl, so I don't know how they felt.
Nah, you're. I mean, if like Orlando Scandrick, let's use him for an example. Like, I don't like Orlando. I wouldn't spit on Orlando if his butt was on fire. So when he goes to places like the Super Bowl, I'm like, I'm not a fan of that. I don't cheer that on. If it's your guy, if it's one of your dudes,
we made it 59 minutes and 50 seconds before Jesse talked about spitting on dudes' butts. Okay, go ahead, Jesse.
But
like, if it's your guy, you're happy. Like, you're happy. You're happy.
Like, I was happy for Everson Walls at the Giants. I was happy for Everson.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
and especially if your guy goes somewhere else and he gets paid, you're happy.
Don't talk about it.
You're happy.
All right, fellas, let's end the show. Kurt, you started off. What is your Super Bowl matchup?
Unless it's LaRon Robinson. I wasn't happy about that. That was my $32 million, but that's another whole.
Let's get into that next show. I don't know about that.
I was happy.
Give me the Chiefs and the Packers in the Super Bowl.
Same.
Is that what you were going to ask it?
Yep. Chiefs, Packers, Jesse, Nate.
Hey, they knocked my team out, the Saints. The GOAT knocked my guys out, but I don't think the GOAT can get my guy. My guy, Aaron Rodgers. Y'all know how I feel about Aaron. Oh, no, let's go, Aaron. In the AFC, who cares?
I tell you what, I'm going to make a bold prediction. I think it's going to be the Packers, and I think because I don't know what's going on with Patrick Mahomes, and if he plays, I don't know what kind of shape he's going to be in. I'm going to go with the upset. The Bills going to confuse him a little bit on defense. It's probably not happening, but I'm going to call it anyway. So, fellas, it's been great. Nate, Jesse, Kurt, good seeing you guys. One day soon, hopefully, we can all be back in the studio together to do this thing in the same place. Good seeing you. Chris, thanks for keeping us on the air. And thanks to everyone that wasted an hour and 2 minutes with us today. We appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back
Not
here.
wasted. You learned something today.
We'll be back here next week, the same time, the same place.
Breaking news, Jesse Homeboy the strength coach.
Yes.
Breaking news.
We now have an inside. We have an inside track to the team again this year. Thank you, Jesse Holly. All right, fellas. See you next week.
Jesse, get somebody else
been
fired.
listening to Hanging with the Boys. I gotta go pee.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?